Hello everyone, and welcome back to Mutazione, where I've been dragging my feet, haven't I? Everything in the village, just as I really started to feel connected to everyone and really started to feel like part of the community here, is falling apart left and right. Tung is actually the father of Aline's baby. Aline is going to have to break the news to Garub. We're going to end up seeing if Grandpa will ever forgive us after that fight. Something is going on with the Papu tree. Maury and Claire are worried about losing Tung to his wanderlust. And meanwhile, Claire and Spike have a relationship that for some reason, even though they care about each other, just doesn't seem to be working out. Miyu's fighting with Spike. Yogi is losing his eyesight. It's a lot. It's a lot. And I realized I've just been sitting here in the Garden of Melancholy for so long, just listening and listening and listening. But that isn't living, is it? Alright. As much as I wish we could stay here, life is going to go on, and we need to see what's happening with everybody and everything. And now it's time to go talk to Yogi in the archive and hear about the secret code he's been translating for us. And I'm also a little bit worried because we've been having really weird dreams lately. So everything in this archive was collected by Manny? It seems like Manny went through and gathered scraps of the examples of what people had been up to before the meteor hit, so that maybe the people who would stay here would always remember. Well now, Maury said you went on a bit of an adventure this morning. Are you all returned safe and sound? Yeah, it was really chill. Just what I needed. Feeling a little tense? I cannot help with that, but perhaps I can provide a little intrigue to distract. You have arrived back just in time. I've finished translating the notes I found. Though, while the decoding was easy enough, it turns out that some of the details are a little strange. What did you find out? Being able to read it in plain language doesn't necessarily mean we can understand the meaning. Nor am I totally clear as to why she felt it necessary to write in code. Manny was, as a principal, very transparent in how she communicated. But perhaps the date might suggest... When did she write them? Well, it appears to be around the time that the expedition of scientists arrived on our shores. The ones that included your grandparents. While she, along with everyone else, was initially very welcoming of their presence, it soon became clear that their overall interest was in our land, and knowledge was... How do I describe this? We were not subjects who could welcome them to share our knowledge and resources, but rather objects to be studied. What did they want? It's hard to say, but that's why I think these notes are intentionally obscure. Anyway, Manny references 7 of what I believe she calls moods, and something about how they are crucial to the balance of the local ecosystem. She also reports that the scientists showed great interest in the Papu tree, and that she was concerned that they would interfere with... It's very dangerous, you know. There are terrible creatures guarding it. The Papu tree? Why would they be guarding it? Guarding what? I don't know if I am the right source for this knowledge. Though if Nonno is sharing his practice with you, perhaps it is better to inform you sooner rather than later. Whoa. Man, this just keeps getting more and more complex. You should go and speak to Jelle. It is much more their domain. I believe they are usually in their cave lab at this time of day. Yes, go to them. Yogi, are you sure you can't tell me any more? I am sorry. I'm feeling a little peculiar. I will disappear into a book and emerge rejuvenated, I am sure. I can definitely relate to that. Absolutely, I can relate to that. So, Manny was trying to hide the magic garden stuff from the scientist? 7 gardens, made of 7 moods. Like the Birdman palm? I wonder what happens when they're all planted. Apparently, Jelly can tell me more about the garden mystery. To the cave! Alright, well, to the cave! We've dragged our feet enough, making sure that the 3 gardens that we have access to right now are healthy and thriving. I've mixed them up a little bit, but I think that'll be okay. We have Melancholia, we've got the Pacific Garden, we've got the Harsh Garden, oh, and the Wanderlust, so we have 4 gardens now. 4 out of 7 already. Jelly? What's Jelly making today? Smells soapy. Greetings. Yogi sent me here on a research trip. I will endeavor to be of aid, service, or help. Yogi translated this thing that Manny wrote, something about why the scientist came here, but then he got all upset and sent me here. You are agitated. I understand. But as Yogi suggests, I am best able to explain. For I am a product of the fung. What is a fung? I am an organism like you. But I am not a humanoid mutation, so like some of the others here. My origins are not the result of sexual reproduction. I am a mitotic division of the result of the fung's meiosis. Okay, I can actually follow along with that. So, let's go with meiosis, just to explain it. Meiosis? Typically, sporadic material produced by such an organism requires very particular conditions to allow the mitotic division that produces a multicellular gametophyte, which produces gametes, which forms a zygote, which developed into me. I can actually follow all of that because of my university class, and holy cow, studying spores was one of the most frustratingly hard parts of getting ourselves through our ecology section. A new sporophyte. But Dr. Bramson was kind enough to cultivate me. I'm sorry, what? Dr. Bramson? Dr. Bramson cultivated me from spores that were originated by the fung, though it is possible for the spores to self-germinate. The order of the fung, who guard it now, are self-germinated. We might even surmise that the sporadic effusion was an evolutionary step towards a new defensive capability. So the fung is developing a new type of mutated, spore-reproduced creatures like Jelly to potentially defend itself. So kind of like making a class of worker ants whose job is to protect the queen. Except in this case, the queen is some sort of giant mutated spore-producing mushroom. I can get behind that. Perhaps even surpassing Hippomane mancinea for flora with a reproduction for danger. Though they aren't called upon very often because the tunnel that leads to the fung is inhabited by hundreds of venomous centipedes. Whoa. Well, I'm not surprised to learn about venomous centipedes, so let's focus on the Order of the Fung. The Order of the Fung guards it? From what? Wait. I had this dream about a huge centipede. I did have a dream about a huge centipede. It was really creepy. The centipedes are one of the obstacles. The Order of the Fung is another. The Great Fung exist in a symbiotic relationship with the papu tree. A lot of trees actually in real life rely on the myophilic connections between the systems of roots and fungus that actually connect the forest together. That's a real thing that happens. I know people overlook mushrooms all the time, but there's secret networks, and basically it's like It's like blood vessel systems that are traveling from tree to tree that help an entire forest thrive. So it sounds like the great fung is one of those mushrooms that live in the soil that end up taking care of a tree and in response are taken care of by the tree. And then the mushroom grows into other directions and is able to take the extra resources and pull extra resources from the forest around it. Mm, Basically, think of it like the mushrooms are a giant system of blood veins and arteries that hold the entire forest together as a whole ecosystem. Where the heart would be the one tree, you still have a lot more to the body, the rest of the forest. I'm really glad I've actually studied this in depth. The symbiosis is the heart of our particular ecosystem. There's some irony. Just exactly like I said. I suspect that when the scientists broached these shores, they thought there was some secret they might capitalize on. That is the kind of interest it must protect itself from. But it is not actually difficult to reach. Simply open that portal behind you and traverse the pipe. It leads to an abandoned shopping temple. Shopping temple. There you will find a centripetally troubled tunnel. So, a whole bunch of venomous centipedes. Which leads you to the cave of the Great Fung. Although I'm fairly sure you would perish if you entered unprotected. So, why was Yogi so upset about it? The Great Fung is the reason all of the scientists but your grandparents perished. They died? No one has even begun to indicate that. One of them was someone whom Yogi had produced a child. Wait, Yogi was in love with one of the scientists, and his son was the product of that, no doubt, and one of the scientists ended up dying to the Great Fung. 2 decades later, that child became Nonno's apprentice. Wait, Nonno's apprentice died? That's why I'm here, isn't it? Nonno's apprentice died. Nonno's dying. The great tree is dying. I got called here. Is that really fair? That's really like, I mean, it's like you have the whole fate of not only the people here, but this ecosystem just thrust upon you. And, oh man. But he was frustrated with the slow progress Nonno and he made in training. His mind was damaged attempting to access the power of the Great Fung. He became unstable, attacked the offspring he had produced with Miu before disappearing. Miu lost her mate not because of the fire, but because her mate killed their children in the fire and then disappeared in the forest after attempting to connect with the tree. Every story at every turn is so tragic right now. How do we even begin to try to help this? A partner, a son, his grandchildren. All dead. The Fung has taken much from Yogi. I don't want to go down there until I have more info on these venomous centipedes. How do I even start to cope with what Yogi has lost and how kind he is? And I don't even know. I don't even know. Is Jelly's... Oh my gosh, Jelly and Bobek are hanging out. I mean, I'm devastated and overwhelmed by all the things I've learned, but everyone here is so used to this. This is literally ancient history for them. I don't know how to process that. Look, I'm luminous, lumin hat. Cat's eyes and woe are what these little ones are called. Shallow soil, dark caves, medium-sized fungi. They grow in the shallow soil patches or on rotten wood, and in darkened circumstances, they can be seen to give off a faint luminescence. The lamella should never be eaten raw, as the fungus is deadly without proper preparation. Lumen hat fungi can be used as part of a treatment to terminate pregnancy, but should only be supplied by a shaman or healer in combination with careful counsel and support throughout the process. Okay, that worries me. Very much worries me. Oh boy. Alright. Well, let's try to lighten things up with Bopek. What's it like to be old? Old is relative. It's not entirely clear how old I may become. For example, I am very old for a mushroom, but perhaps not for the specific kind of mature sporadic life form that I am. Can I be a mature sporadic life form when I grow up? I'd like to wobble and sleep all day and absorb nutrients. You can be a mature Bopek life form. That doesn't sound good. You can fish for bigger fish and weave huge baskets for them. I would like that. Huh. That was really thoughtful. A basket so big I could sleep in it. Correct. Alright. Jelly definitely has my support for being able to entertain Bopek and be so kind to him. And the sausages are back. What are you brats up to? Or should I say, you brats up to? Not using them, but inspired by them. Bopek currently hogs the only prime inland fishing spot. But think of all the opportunities further out. Further out? Yes, definite progress. I wonder if it is the new formula. However, it doesn't correlate correctly. A flotation system for far-out fishing. We spread our weight with 4 big shoes shaped like little boats, just like a snickerbug. So 4 times the effort of an actual normal-sized boat then. The snicker boot system. For those hard-to-reach fishing spots out at sea. Snickerbugs are funny. Alright, I'm beginning to think maybe the sausages are a bit more harmless than I thought. Snurfle. I know, Russell. But it's hard. Maybe I would be happier if I were to get out of the tunnel and... But that's just it. I don't know what I'd do up there. I like it down here. The pipe all snug around me. I know. Oh my gosh. So now, like, there's just a talking princess in a pipe on top of everything. I need to see if Grandpa is made up with me. Oh, hey, there's Dennis. Yes, it's not the same level of activity as there used to be. Tick tick. Nit tick do. That's only the root systems though. Do you have any readings from the crown? Tick new. There must be something I'm doing that's different. We just need to isolate it. Alright, so Dennis is having some things work out. We need to talk to Maury about if she's heard anything about Spike and Claire. Make up with Grandpa. But before all of that, can we go and talk to Yogi again? Oh, and there's Miyu. I want to let him know we know now. Oh, but Aline is here too? Wow, maybe she's decided to join the book club. Well, alright guys. I think we're going to go ahead and kind of catch our breath and, you know, not overwhelm ourselves too quickly with whatever news we might find out next. This was a huge day. And somehow it makes the archive all the more beautiful and all the more empty and lonely at the same time. And it makes a lot of sense why the whole village comes together to be Yogi's family with everything that he's lost. But I definitely need to think about everything that's happened for a little bit. If you guys would like to join us on this and literally thousands more adventures, do please consider subscribing. But most importantly, my friends, stay curious, and I'll see you next time. Bye-bye.